city. I got some of the board members here that was the part of the founding members of the chamber. Joel Sigler. He's still currently serving as treasurer. Thank you for your service to the Eastvale Chamber of Commerce. Daniel Reed, vice president. He's been on the board of directors for the last probably year and a half or two. Anybody else here? The other board member? And we got a member here, Steve. He's been one of the founding member of the Chamber of Commerce. And I had the opportunity to serve as the founding president of Eastvale Chamber of Commerce. I am currently, again, since last year, the president of Eastvale Chamber of Commerce. We greatly appreciate your support to this event. This event is a non-political, non-partisan. Basically, the Chamber of Commerce do not endorse or support anybody. We are a conduit providing you the candidate here and to listen to them. We'll be asking some questions and providing you the background and so you can make an educated guess. We all love Eastvale, and we all want to make sure that the best leader represent and run and manage the city. With that, I'm going to introduce the candidates. Please hold your applause until the end. District 1, Mario Marroquin. Todd Rigby, District 1. Joe Tsari, District 2. Basar Madani, District 2. Al Guzma, District 5. Raul Gutierrez, District 5. Robert Hendrick, District 5. Brandon Platt, District 5. With that, I would like to introduce the moderator this evening, a dear friend of mine. We know each other for years and years. He's even my mentor in for many years to do the right thing for our city. Greatly appreciate your support, sir, to the community moderator, Bill Newberry, President, Board of Education, Corona Northcote Unified School District. Please join me in welcoming.
Well, certainly an honor and a pleasure to be here. It's actually a pleasure to be in Eastvale. I've been on a plane all day since 7 this morning and just got into Eastvale about 15 minutes ago. So it's great to finally get home. I did want to make a few comments before we get started. They are numbered from 1 through 8 as we go to my right here, with number 1 being here, number 8 at the end. So we're going to ask a series of 3 questions, which doesn't seem like a whole lot, but when you multiply it times 8 and you have an opening statement and a closing statement, this will take about 1 hour and 20 minutes to go through 3 questions and an opening and closing statement. So as we go through the process, I'm going to kind of go 1 through 8, 1 through 8, 1 through 8, and then when we get to the closing statement, then we'll start 8 and come back to 1. The first question that I'm going to ask them will be a common question for all 8 of them. And then on the second and the third question, what I'll ask them is some questions the chambers put together. So they'll all be a different question for each person on the second and the third question. And then we'll do a 2-minute closing statement. So we'll do a 2-minute opening. Each of the questions you'll be allowed to answer for 90 seconds. And then at the end, a 2-minute closing statement. We have our timer, which is Joel, and Joel will give them, looks like a 30-second warning when your 30 seconds is up, and then you'll get the red stop, which indicate for you to please And at the end of tonight's session, they've all been provided a table and a chair outside of this, what's called the commons area here of Augie Ramirez. And so we're encouraging you to follow up with them, go meet them, whatever you'd like to do in the commons area once we're done. Drop by their table, whatever they may have brought in, they can hand it out there in the commons area. So instead of gathering in here, we'd rather you gather in that commons area right through the doors where I believe you came in when you arrived. I did want to go through just a little bit about the City Council of Eastvale. Effective June 8th of 2016, so just recently, the city went or adopted the by-district election system. Good, bad, or indifferent. We had to do it at the school district a couple of years ago. And that whole process, just so you kind of understand it, it stems from a lawsuit that has gone up and down the state where basically folks are suing cities and suing school districts saying that there are not equal representation in their city, and therefore we need to go by district to get some type of equal representation. So to avoid the lawsuit, we, the school district, and so did the city, hires a demographer to divide the city into areas that has to be equal in size of a population, not square footage or square miles, but by population, and it has to be plus or minus 3%. So that was drawn up, and so this will be the first election now that the city will have by district elections. So you'll be choosing the people by where you live, the district in which you live in will have those particular candidates there. So that's a little unique and different than what we've experienced in the past, and that's kind of how that works, and then the history a little bit of that. It's a council manager form of government, meaning the council hires and fires the city manager, and the city manager is a employee of the city. There's 5 members. They're elected on a nonpartisan basis, and they are selected or elected to serve for 4 years. And those 4 years are staggered terms. So as you know, in this particular election, there are a certain number of districts, and then in 2 years, there'll be the remaining districts. And this is a what's called a mayor council legislative and policy-making body, and all of them are not salaried positions. And I think I went through the format already, and so I think we're good there. Let me see what else I may have missed. So if we can hold the applause until the very end.